Before we begin, hit that subscribe button, because tonight's stories come from hotel workers who survived shifts they should have never lived through. These are the top 3 creepiest night shifts at haunted hotels, and after this, you'll never walk down a quiet hotel hallway the same way again. Story 1. The Room That Kept Calling, the Redwood Lodge, Utah. Eric had worked front desk at the Redwood Lodge for 6 years. It was a quiet, aging hotel off a lonely Utah highway, the kind of place that felt untouched by time. Faded carpets, dim yellow bulbs, a lobby that always smelled vaguely like old coffee. But Eric didn't mind. Night shifts were easy. Clean the lobby, check in the late stragglers, maybe watch a movie on his phone if no one came in. But on March 3rd, 2021, everything changed. It was 2:14 a.m. when the phone behind the counter rang. The display lit up with a room number. Eric frowned. The room was empty. Had been for weeks. Maintenance was supposed to repaint it soon. He answered anyway. Front desk. How can I help you? No response. Just faint static, like wind blowing into the receiver. Hello. Static grew louder, then a soft clicking sound, like fingernails tapping the microphone. Then the line went dead. Weird, he thought. Maybe a wiring issue. But at 2:17 a.m., the phone rang again. Room 214. Eric answered. This is the front desk. Silence, then a whisper. Too faint to understand. He leaned closer. Sir. Ma'am. I can't hear you. Then the whisper repeated, slightly louder, but still warped, like it was coming from far away. Don't come up. Eric froze. The line cut out. He stared at the phone, pulse quickening. Maybe some kid had somehow broken into the room. Maybe a homeless person slipped in. That would make sense, sort of. He checked the room logs. The key cards for 214 hadn't been touched in days. 2:25 a.m. The phone rang again. Eric picked up slowly this time. His voice cracked. Hello. This time, he didn't hear whispers. He heard breathing. Slow. Wet. Labored. Like someone was inches from the receiver. Then a voice, a rasping male voice, spoke clearly. He's still in the room. Eric felt every hair on his arms rise. Who's in the room? No answer. Just a quiet, shaky exhale. Then the voice repeated. Don't come up. The call ended. Eric felt sick. He had to check the room. He grabbed the master key card and a flashlight from the drawer. As he walked toward the elevator, the hotel felt wrong. Too quiet. Every step echoed. Every hallway light flickered, just a little too long. He reached the second floor and turned toward room 214. The hallway was dimmer than usual. Or maybe it just felt that way. The carpet smelled damp, old. The air felt colder. When he reached the door, his stomach twisted. The door was slightly open. Just a crack. He pressed a hand against it and pushed gently. The room was pitch black. Hello, he whispered. Nothing. He stepped inside, flashlight trembling in his hand. The beam cut across the bed, untouched. The desk empty. The curtains still. No sign of anyone. He checked the bathroom. Empty. He checked the closet. Empty. That's when he noticed something strange. The phone in the room was off the hook. He reached over to place it back, but froze when he saw the message light blinking. Someone had left a voicemail. Eric swallowed hard and pressed the play button. A distorted recording crackled through the speaker, filled with static and faint whispering, and then, beneath it all, his own voice. Don't come up. Eric stumbled back, so fast he knocked into the wall. That made no sense. He never said those words. Not once. Then the message replayed. Louder. Don't come up. Except now it wasn't his voice. It was deeper. Harsher. Almost inhuman. He ran. Out the door. Down the hallway. Into the elevator. Back to the safety of the lobby, where the lights felt too bright, but real. By the time he made it behind the counter, his hands were shaking so badly, he dropped the master key card. He sat there, breathing hard. At 3:01 a.m., the phone rang again. Room 214. Eric didn't answer. The next morning, he told management everything. They brushed it off. Faulty phone lines. Audio feedback. A prank. They shrugged it off and moved on. Eric quit a week later. The Redwood Lodge closed permanently in 2022. But workers who investigated the building said room 214's phone was still off the hook when they found it. The voicemail light still blinking. No power. No working phone system. Just that one message, looping endlessly. Don't come up. Story 2. The 3 a.m. guest, Blackwood in Vermont. Jess was 25 and newly hired at the Blackwood, a boutique hotel tucked deep in Vermont's woods. It had only 14 rooms and catered mostly to hikers and weekend couples. Her shifts were normally quiet, calm, boring honestly. But on November 9th, 2019, she worked a night she still refuses to talk about. The storm hit around 1:45 a.m. Rain pounded the roof, so hard the lights flickered every few minutes. The entire hotel felt like it was shaking. At 1:58 a.m., the front door slid open. Jess looked up. A man stood dripping wet in the lobby. No luggage. No coat. Completely soaked. He looked around slowly, like he wasn't sure where he was. "Sir," Jess said gently. "Are you okay?" He didn't answer. He walked up to the counter. His clothes were old, not vintage, but old, worn, faded like they'd been washed hundreds of times. His hair was slicked down with rainwater. Jess forced a polite smile. "Do you need a room?" The man nodded once. "Okay, name." The man spoke quietly. "Room 9. Jess blinked. "I'm sorry, sir, are you saying your name is Room 9? He stared at her for a long moment. "No," he whispered. "I need Room 9. Jess typed quickly. "Room 9 is unoccupied tonight. You want to book it?" He nodded again. Jess checked him in, gave him the keycard, and tried to ignore the unease creeping into her chest. "Elevators to your left. Enjoy your stay." The man didn't move. He just stared at her, expressionless, completely still, rainwater dripping from his sleeves onto the counter. Jess looked toward the hallway, then back at him. "Sir, is everything okay?" Finally, he spoke. "He won't let me sleep." Jess felt cold. "Who?" "The man in the corner." She almost laughed, thinking he was joking, but his expression never changed. Jess nodded slowly. "Sir, Room 9 is empty. No one is in there." The man whispered, "He follows me." Jess swallowed hard. "If there's someone bothering you, I can go check." The man stepped back suddenly, hair dripping, chest rising, and falling like he'd just sprinted a mile. He rasped, "You can't help me." He turned and walked toward the elevator. Jess watched him go, unsettled. At 2:13 a.m., the elevator dinged. But it wasn't going up. It was coming down. The doors opened. Empty. Jess stood slowly. "Sir." No answer. At 2:14 a.m., the phone rang. "Room 9. Jess answered with a tight breath. "Front desk." The man's voice cut in. "He's in the room." Jess shivered. "Who?" "He's in the corner." The man whispered, "Watching me." Jess stood straighter. "Sir, stay calm. I'm coming up." "No," the man rasped. "He's not looking at me anymore." Jess froze. "Who is he looking at?" Silence. Then softly, "He's looking at you." Jess slammed the phone down. She backed away from the counter, eyes scanning the empty lobby. The lights flickered. The glass doors shuddered from wind. Then she heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming down the hallway from the elevator. Jess stepped forward carefully, fear gripping her chest. "Sir," she called out softly. The footsteps stopped. Then she heard breathing. Very close. She grabbed the flashlight, heart pounding, and shined it toward the hallway. Empty. No one there. At 2:23 a.m., the phone rang again. Jess didn't want to answer, but she forced herself. Front. A scream tore through the line. A horrible, guttural scream. A man's voice, but twisted, broken, filled with terror. Jess dropped the phone. She ran. She sprinted to the elevator, hit the button, and bolted up to room 9. The hallway upstairs was dark. Too dark. The lights barely glowed. Jess reached room 9 and knocked hard. "Sir, open the door." No response. She swiped the master key and pushed inside. The room was freezing. The man was gone. But the window curtain moved slightly, and taped to the glass was a key card. Room 9's key card. On the mirror, Written in wet, dripping streaks, maybe rainwater, maybe something else, were the words. He followed me in. Just quit 2 days later. Room 9 has been locked ever since. Hotel staff won't talk about it. And whoever the man was that night, he never checked out. Story 3. The Basement Check-In, Harper's Grand Hotel, Louisiana. Tom had only been working night security at Harper's Grand for 3 months. The hotel was famous, a massive, elegant building from the 1920s with gold-trimmed elevators and a lobby that smelled like old perfume. But employees whispered about one thing: the basement level. No tourists knew it existed. The elevators didn't list it. Only staff badges could access it. It housed old laundry rooms, storage areas, and an abandoned boiler hall. Management told Tom, "Never go down there unless you have maintenance with you." But on June 12, 2018, the basement came to him instead. It started at 1:06 a.m., when Tom heard an alert from the front desk computer. New check-in, basement level. Tom frowned. No one should be down there. No one should be able to check in from there. He clicked the entry. Guest name unknown. Time 1:05:44 a.m. Location basement kitchen storage. Tom thought it was a glitch. Then the printer beside him whirred to life. A reservation receipt slowly slid out. He picked it up. Guest unknown. Length of stay 1 night. Room assigned B7. Tom felt cold. There was no room B7. He called maintenance. No answer. Called night manager. Straight to voicemail. The lights in the lobby flickered. Then he overheard something on the radio clipped to his vest. Static. Then a voice. Barely audible. Help me. Tom grabbed a flashlight and headed for the elevator. He scanned his badge. The button for the basement lit up. As the elevator descended, everything felt wrong. Heavy. Like the air grew thicker. When the doors opened, Tom stepped out into darkness. The basement smelled like rust and old water. Pipes creaked overhead. Something dripped steadily in the distance. He turned on his flashlight. Long hallway. Exposed brick. Room doors marked with faded paint. B1, B2, B3. Even though these weren't rooms, just old storage closets. He walked slowly, checking each door. As he passed B5, he heard something inside. Scratching. Soft but frantic. He stepped back, heart pounding. Hello? You okay in there? The scratching stopped. Then a voice whispered through the crack under the door. You're late. Tom stumbled back. He moved toward B7, though it shouldn't exist. But there it was. A door labeled B7 in uneven, hand-painted strokes. Fresh, like someone had painted it recently. Tom tried the handle. Unlocked. He pushed it open. The room was empty. Just a light bulb, swinging gently overhead. No windows. No furniture. Nothing. Except a single front desk bell, sitting in the middle of the concrete floor. Like the kind guests tap when they want service. Tom stepped closer. What is this? The bell rang. He didn't touch it. It rang again. Once. Twice. Then violently. Over and over, like invisible hands slammed it. Tom stumbled back, flashlight shaking. Then it stopped. A new sound filled the room. Breathing. Slow. Raspy. Coming from the corner, where the light didn't reach. Tom aimed the flashlight, but the beam flickered. The voice whispered, You check me in. Tom ran, sprinting through the hallway, the flashlight wobbling, hitting the elevator button over and over. Behind him, something metal scraped across the floor. Slow dragging following. The elevator opened. Tom dove inside. Something slammed against the outer doors as they closed. He rode up shaking and didn't stop running until he hit the lobby. He quit the next morning. Harper's Grand still denies the basement exists. But workers swear the printer still spits out reservations some nights. Always for room B7. Always for one more guest who doesn't appear. Because he's never left. If you made it this far, you're officially braver than most hotel night shift workers. Don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're diving into the scariest security footage recorded after 2 a.m. And believe me, you've never seen anything like it. Sleep well, if you can.